Tanking is a very controversial subject in the NBA. The league office hates it, Adam Silver hates it, it makes games uncompetitive, unentertaining, nobody wants to see these games, nobody wants to go to these games. But for the small market teams, the teams that aren't LA, New York, that sort of thing that can bring in these monster free agents, it's really the only way to bring in a generational guy, a LeBron, an Anthony Davis, that can just propel your team to greatness for like a decade. So there's one team in the NBA that's already started tanking, the Orlando Magic, my personal favorite team, and it's kind of sad that they're already tanking. It's 4 weeks into the season. I get it if you're 10 games under 500 halfway through the year and there's no chance you make the playoffs, your season's cooked, but it's 4 weeks in and they're already tanking. So I guess this is because of this generational draft class we have coming in for 2023, led by the 7'4" Frenchman Victor Wembanyama and stud point guard Scoot Henderson out of the G League Ignite. But there's no guarantee you get these players if you tank. So the whole point of tanking is to get that generational guy, to get that stud you can build around, contend for championships, and that sort of thing. But the Orlando Magic already have this guy. They got Paolo Banchero. Sure, in the draft process, there was Paolo wasn't a surefire thing. No one was sure he was going to be this perennial all-star, superstar guy. And sure, he's only played 8 games or so there's no guarantee, or 11 games actually, so there's no guarantee he's that guy. But I believe he is. If you watch him play, he has the tools to just be a perennial all-star player. And so that's the type of guy you want from tanking, and they got that guy. So why are they still tanking? It makes no sense. Sure, you could say, oh, you can have Paolo and Scoot, Paolo and Victor. Yes, you can, but there's no guarantee for that. And even still, maybe the Magic could have been competitive this year. Maybe they could have. I get it, the East is crazy stacked. I made a whole video talking about it. But still, there's a chance. Teams have injuries. Teams have drama. Look at the Nets. Look at the Heat. Those teams are both underwhelming. So yeah, and another thing that's really just it's shameless how the Magic are tanking. Just look at their injury report. Their injury report has 7 rotational players. It has, of course, Paolo, who's going to miss his 5th game tomorrow. That's Friday the 18th. So he's going to miss his 5th game in a row. In fact, he dropped in the Rookie of the Year ladder. So the NBA releases a weekly ranking for each award. So right now it's Benedict Mathurin, great player. He's been balling out, but he's coming off the bench and he's just scoring. He's not really doing anything else. And then who's the second player? I don't remember, but Paolo dropped to 3rd, and that's just ridiculous when you watch him play. He's a borderline all-star. The second Paolo stepped onto the court, he's a borderline all-star. If the Magic were good, if they were 500 come all-star weekend, which they won't be because they're tanking, he would probably be an all-star. He's averaging 23 and 8 as a rookie. And he just turned 20 years old like a week ago. So Paolo, he's been on the injury report the past 5 games. Markelle Fultz, he hasn't played all season. He broke his toe in the preseason kind of. So I get it, Markelle, he's injury prone. He's one of the most injury prone players in the league, so that sucks. So his injury might be real. But you have Jonathan Isaac, who hasn't played since the bubble. Since what is that, June of 2020? He hasn't played since the bubble, a year and a half. Gary Harris, he's playing tomorrow. It's his first game, it's his season debut. He's got Cole Anthony with an oblique tear in his muscle. He hasn't played in a while. Mo Wagner, he hasn't played. And Wendell Carter Jr. with an ankle. So both Paolo and Wendell are dealing with these quote-unquote ankle injuries. But the Magic always pull this. They always say these guys are hurt, but they're always injuries that never happen on the court. Paolo hasn't went down with an ankle injury, grabbing his ankle. Sure, Jalen Suggs, that happens to him every game, and he somehow comes back. But Paolo and Wendell, there were no plays where they go down hurt, grabbing themselves. So these it leads me to think that these are fake injuries, or they're just blown out of proportion, just so the Magic have excuses to not play these guys, to not win games, to just tank. And that leads me to another thing. Just some of the personnel choices make no sense. I get it, Jamal Mosley, he's a second-year coach, so maybe he's not the most polished, but even this choice to not play RJ Hampton makes no sense. So the Magic are one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the entire league. Their three-point shooting is awful, but they have a guy who's shooting 50% from three, RJ Hampton. Sure, he's only shooting twice a game because they don't play him. Instead, they're playing Caleb Houston, who's a rookie second-round pick. I get it, he was a top 10 recruit coming out of high school, but he was super underwhelming in college, so there's really no excuse to play him. Like, I get it, you want to develop him, but at the same time, you should be playing your guys who can help you win. And they're not doing that. So they're playing Caleb Houston over RJ Hampton, and they're playing Kevon Harris, a two-way guy, over RJ. Kevon Harris, he's technically a rookie, but he's 25 years old. No disrespect, but there's no argument to play him over RJ Hampton, who's shooting 50% from three. RJ's still young. He's 21. He makes a lot of bonehead mistakes. He's still inexperienced, kind of, just because he barely got any run in Denver, and he's just been dealing with these stacked point guard rooms in Orlando. But look at the point guard room right now. Look at Cole Anthony, hurt, quote unquote. Look at Markelle, hurt. Gary Harris, hurt. So there's no reason. Look, they've started Franz Wagner at the point guard like multiple times this season, and Terrence Ross. Look, I love Franz. He can play the point forward, but there's no reason to play Franz at the point guard over RJ Hampton, who's a ball handler, and he's shooting 50% from three. It makes no sense. And just look, I get tanking if you're at the end of the year. At the end of the year, you're not making the playoffs. You're not making the playoffs. You might not even be contending for the play-in. But 4 weeks into the season, it's absurd. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what they're doing, and it's just really bad for Paolo's development. Look, I get it. Paolo's super good right now, but that doesn't mean you can't play him. And I get it. In the training center, in practices, in shooting, in shoot-arounds, that'll help develop the players. But the best way to get better in basketball is to get reps. Is to get reps on the court. Is to play actual games. And keeping Paolo out for these ridiculous injuries that we never saw happen, it makes no sense. It's hurting his development. So yeah, it's just stupid, really. It's stupid in the long run. Because Paolo is the future of the Magic. You want him to develop. You want him to be good. He's already good. He's already great, really. But you want him to be just elite. And you need to develop him for that. And so this is a different type of video than what I normally do. Normally I sit down, I make a script, and I work really hard. But this is just a rant from me. I want to get to the point where I can just freestyle my YouTube videos, like Sporting Logically and Kenny. So those are some of my biggest inspirations. So I want to get to that point. So I guess, and this is a topic I've really been passionate about because I'm a Magic fan, and I'm just really annoyed by the fact that they're already tanking. So yeah, like always, I'm Lance with Ball Withdrawal. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, look out for future videos, and yeah, I'll see you then. Thanks.